Hey, welcome to the show. Let's get into my executive summary of the Candace Owens show, episode 303, An Open Letter to Erica Kirk. And just to preface this by saying the style will be slightly schizophrenic, as in there will be first person from Candace's perspective, and then there will be some third person from my own perspective. So a slightly schizophrenic style that I feel somewhat suits the subject. In the pursuit of transparency and the truth, and in order to contribute to the search for the truth, I'm now going to share with my 2 million listeners an open letter to Erica Kirk, who is currently threatening to sue me. I got some gossip from a former employee about a loyalty test that they had to take after Charlie Kirk's assassination. So I'm going to be sharing all of that with you, my fellow mom detectives. Erica Kirk went on TV to say that she wanted to take legal proceedings to make sure the truth came out and to make sure everybody knows what happened to her husband. She did struggle to complete one of her sentences during that interview, which I noticed. So naturally, she must be lying. Also, I can tell from her eyes that she definitely is lying. For some reason, TPUSA didn't want to share all of their evidence with me. Therefore, they are lying. I know that TPUSA are obsessed with me, and that somebody at TPUSA will transcribe this for Erica. This is an open letter to Erica. The open letter begins with Dear Erica, which seems ironic. She then, in the second paragraph, uses the phrase, a season of a lot of change. That's the second paragraph where she goes in detail into telling Erica her own life story in terms of how she met Charlie. So this is certainly a flowery personal letter to Erica. Charlie lied to my face about a fundraising meeting that he was doing. I asked him if he had heard from Ike recently, and he said, no, I haven't heard from him in a few weeks. And I looked back and said, really, Charlie? Really? So he lied to my face about Ike. You had lunch with him yesterday at Mar-a-Lago, Charlie. I knew that all of this betrayal was coming because there were new hires at TPUSA and they were hijacking Charlie's vision. I told him that all of these people were just terrible, terrible, terrible people, but he didn't listen to me. And then they were all involved in his death. And I wonder now if he had listened to me, the great Candace Owens, when I delivered my biblical prophetic warnings based on my visionary dreams. If he had listened to me, would he still be alive? The answer is yes, by the way. Yes, the answer is yes. He would have been alive today. That just goes to show what happens when you don't listen to Candace Owens. Erica, you lied to my face also. I could forgive Charlie, maybe, because he was like a brother to me. He was innocent and naive. But I can't forgive you, Erica, because there was nothing naive about what you did. You're simply an evil person. You lied about me, Erica. You lied about me and Charlie being like brother and sister. Why would you lie about that? We were the best friends in the whole universe. Charlie was very gifted, which is why lights used to switch off when he ran by, and also why he was in a special X-Man school for the gifted and talented children, which was run by the Deep State. Charlie had a vision of himself dying the night before the assassination, and I know this because I also have visions, and I was a great friend to him, like a sister. Charlie used to tell me about his third eye, not a euphemism. And Charlie used to often talk about how we would astral travel. Who is Pierre? Pierre is from France. And just a bit of context here. Of course, France is bad because Brigitte Macron has a penis, and also they're involved in the American deep state. This might be the reason why the White House never got back to me regarding the French Foreign Legion being involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. I'm really, really good at putting together puzzles. This is still a personal letter to Erica, by the way. Egypt and Angola are also involved. Unclear. He lied to me. Charlie lied to me about Pierre, about Ike, in order to cover for Bibi Netanyahu, who had offered to take TPUSA to the next level. We're not talking millions. We're talking billions. Charlie turned him down, and that's why they killed him. Who was Bibi going to funnel the funds through? Well, my guess is Pierre. This is not going to be a never-ending mystery. This is not going to be like the JFK case. I'm going to get to the bottom of this, and I'm very close to solving the mystery. You might have the billions, but I have the truth. That's what I wanted to say to you. We'll be right back. Hey guys, everything's super expensive these days. Would you like to buy some gold or some silver maybe from my friends over here who may or may not be Jewish? I'd also like to remind you about the wellness company in case you have acne and need a cream for that. The cream is made with ivermectin, making a post-COVID comeback. Hey Erica, send my regards to Doug. I know who Doug is. He used to be an intern for Charlie, and now he's meeting with investors and talking about investments. We know everything, and we are everywhere, and we are going to solve this crime. So we've talked before about people who've been fired from TPUSA recently, and now there's a lady who's been fired from TPUSA over something to do with an Uber, and she's released a video. So of course we're going to talk about that. The employee says that September the 10th, the day of the assassination, was very traumatic and stressful for her, and it was a lot of work to do. She claims not to have slept for 48 hours during one period during the conference, and she was fired 3 weeks ago. There were two issues that were discussed in the firing, one of which she doesn't want to go into for some reason, but she does want to talk about an issue that occurred in regards to an Uber journey. So the Uber story is that the Turning Point USA executive was in an Uber, and the Uber driver was saying to him that he had heard that TPUSA was poorly run and falling apart, and nobody likes Erica. Then he's like, "Oh, where did you hear that from?" And the Uber driver said his daughter is a friend with someone who worked there. And he said, "Who is it?" And then he named the employee. The employee says, "I have a good feeling that I was fired for questioning the narrative around what happened to my mentor and hero, Charlie Kirk. And I always trust a woman who ends every sentence with severe vocal fry. I worked for Dan." Candace doesn't approve of being questioned about the Uber driver anecdote on the basis that it's gossip. So she doesn't believe that this employee should have been questioned or that it should have been brought up at all on the basis that it's gossip. And we're not running Gossip Girl here, which is ironic. If it was me running TPUSA, I wouldn't have fired anybody for a year, and I would have given them a year's grieving period. I'm getting real close to understanding what happened. Why did you lie about not knowing Pierre? The moment I knew Israel was involved was when Ben Shapiro was pretending to care about Charlie. There's also a Korean angle, which is not making sense. You can say that again. I know that Israel did it because Benjamin Netanyahu said they didn't. And why would Benjamin Netanyahu say that Israel didn't do it if they actually didn't do it? In the coming weeks, when I get to the bottom of this, it's going to become very obvious to everybody, and nobody's going to buy it anymore. Then everything has felt fake from start to finish. The company has raised $250 million, and yet they've sacked employees. And those employees now have to go on GoFundMe with a fund called the Purge Fallout Fund, which I encourage you to go and donate to. Don't give me money, give them money. Also, Erica should donate too. Erica and Justin know who Pierre is. I just want to say that. We now have a French channel, Candace en Français, which is a good thing, of course, because France is very much involved in this. My instincts were correct. And how did I get there? By following the Egyptian planes, of course. LOL, which she does say, and then she goes on to laugh. Um, cackle for about 30 seconds, which is a little upsetting on the ears. They ran a military level psychological operation to traumatize me because I'm the only one out here telling the truth. And you know the reason I got through this devastating psychological attack against me? It's not because I'm so strong. It's because of the magical power of my friendship with Charlie Kirk. And I also want to thank you guys because when I was weak, even if I didn't seem weak, you kept me strong. And the decentralized intelligence agency is doing great work. And we're going to get to the bottom of this, mom detectives. And that's going to do it for the executive summary of the Candace Owens show, episode 303, An Open Letter to Erica Kirk. I look forward to consuming more Candace in due course and digesting her for you.